Thank you very much. My name is Sudha Mani, and I am the founder of Chatbots for Business Success. Usually, thank you very much. I love it. I love your smile. Thank you. Basically, my background is in computer science. I started out as a database developer and then moved into Java development and web development. And I have moved from there to enterprise architecture because I wanted to see why business always says IT projects don't deliver. Wanted to see why that is. But now I think I know grass is greener on the other side, isn't it? So Kane kind of stole my question, the first question. The question is, how many of you are in the enterprise side of the business, like AI? You're on the enterprise side. You make the procurement decisions? No. Okay. How many of you are in IT or technical architecture or technical architect role? Okay. Why is it slowly erasing? I'm not going to ask you any questions. Okay, how many of you are solutions architect who deliver the solution for, you've got a startup side where you go in, consult, and deliver the solutions? Yeah? How many? 10%? You want to? Okay. So today's topic is, I think they've decided by the title of the speech that it's going to be a boring one. I make it as interesting as possible. It is boring for me as well, so I've got to make it interesting so that I withstand reading those things. One of the problems as a business is when we look at the solutions, why IT is not delivering the solutions which you thought they would be delivering, and they are magicians on the day one, on day 100, or on the day of launch. They are no one because they have not delivered anything. It's all because of IT infrastructure. How many of you have seen, please be truthful, honest, put your hands on when you answer this question. How many of you try to put the round hole in the square peg, or the other way around? You've got a square peg, you try to smack the round hole in there to get the magic happen. It doesn't. That's what happens with IT infrastructure. IT infrastructure, the hardware element of it is, it's already there, okay? Or they've invested, about 38% of businesses are investing in AI, or they decided to invest in AI in 2021. You know why? Because of COVID. Out of that, only 17% of businesses are truly implementing the AI solutions. The rest of them are saying, we can't do it. We cannot create magic. It's because your infrastructure is old or not supporting. As Kane mentioned, we've got so many tools. When I started, I had to code everything. Now there are solutions and libraries and frameworks available where you can do without coding. But for that to happen, you need to have some kind of infrastructure. Kane comes in as a consultant and he says, oh, I want this. No, you can't have that, but you have got to do what we have already in the business. That is the problem with the infrastructure. So today we will be covering all of this. This looks like a long list, but I will make sure that I'll cover it as soon as possible. We're already past 5 minutes. So what we are going to do is, these are the risks of AI deployment at the moment. 80% of the business says that their data infrastructure is not supporting the AI. It's because the data they've got is crap. Sorry to use that language, but that's what the state of. You ask any data scientist who is going to put their hand up and say, oh, we've got the brilliant, beautiful, juicy data, which we can create magic like that. If one data scientist say that to me, I will leave the job. So the problem is data. Garbage goes in, garbage comes out. So that is, corporations and organizations don't agree to that. This is the importance of why AI should be in your map, or in your organization map, or how can you lead from bottom up? How can you, as a consultant, as a data scientist, how can you lead up the organization to adopt and innovate the AI solutions which they need? They badly need, because there are so many bad culture, the work culture and work ethics are all jumbled up. We are in the mix of, how many have interacted with Tay or bought Tay? How many Twitter bot? How many know about that? It's all to do with the pattern recognition, right? We all know AI is mostly pattern oriented. So whatever garbage you give it to, it's going to spit out the same thing, or it can become more intelligent, like kids, and give you something totally, you're like, where did you get that word from? You used it, Dad, or you used it, Mom. But that's the same thing happening. It's because the culture is not built in for these. We've got whopping 400%, and it's going to go more than that. The impact is we can solve problems. How many of you here genuinely think that we can solve problems using technology? Raise your hand if you genuinely think that you can solve the world problems. Even stop Russia now. Sorry, politics, no. Genuinely think, I genuinely believe technology can solve 90% of our problems. All we have got to do is kill all the humans. So genuinely, if we use the technology and the data and the intelligence we have, which is only 1%, I was told we only use 10% of our brain. 90% is lying there. So if we could use that 10% of our brain capacity to create solutions for the problems which we are, day-to-day problems, just to have a chat. Many of us forgot how to have a chat. That's why we've got a conversational design framework now. How to do the conversation. So we have to see in such a way that I'm not going to follow whatever you can read. So I'm not going to read the slide on top of it. So hopefully you understand. I'm going to talk. And we can deliver the quality solutions. We can definitely deliver the quality solutions if only we could map these strategy, the present condition where we are, to go to the outcomes-based solutions, where we can genuinely say, my company is providing value to you, genuinely. How many of you agree with this? All of you agree with this? Unconscious bias, the last one, posing as ethical practices. We all talk about unconscious bias. Even this podium, or whatever you call them, the same height as me. They should be thinking about a person who is only 4'10" coming and standing on the stage. They should think about that and say, okay, we need to find a solution where we can reduce the height of this so that the other person feels that we're taller. Right? So the unconscious is becoming more conscious now. This is how they should be thinking. Now, Kane mentioned that we are still in an infant stage. I strongly believe, no offense meant to you, what you said is right from our point of view, techie people point of view. Whereas from the business point of view, it is matured. They're thinking that it can speak whatever you ask that robot to speak. It can do things what they think it can do. So they think that AI has matured, is not matured. It's still in the infancy stage. But what we are thinking is, how can we get these people who think that it can do magic, provided you behave? Right? It can do magic. Technology can do magic, provided you behave. What they do now in organization, I don't want to name the organizations, they take their automation, fed into AI solution, want to call it RPAs. It doesn't happen because there are so many workarounds. In public sector, who here, I forgot his name, in chat, is that your organization? Yes. You said Edinburgh Council, they're trying to create a dialogue framework. The problem here is creating dialogue framework is just the start. Chatbot is the start of AI invasion. It's not the end. We are trying to learn how to converse and practice or train the robot in such a way that it delivers a solution. What happens, there was another person, it was online, wasn't it? The guy from Salesforce. He mentioned the conversation, text conversation and voice conversation are not the same. I agree. You mentioned that as well. The text and voice is not the same. When we start incorporating that neural science, the feelings-based, business automation at the moment is not feelings-based. It's rule-based, right? We are creating, when I started creating chatbots in 2017, I used the same rule-based framework to design the conversation. That's not how it works. So we need to move from, the understanding, the coding. If we could incorporate that into our conversation, how good it would be. So it all depends on the infrastructure. When you're deciding on infrastructure, investing on how many of you agree that 70 to 80% of the cost investment goes to the infrastructure? Put your hand up if you believe 70 to 80% of the cost of AI investment go to infrastructure. Yeah? It's same with IT strategy as well. Like 70 to 80% goes into. But what happens is, when you invest that much money in the business, you need to be coaching the business, coaching. I'm not training or anything. You need to be coaching the business in such a way that it thinks before it buys. My end outcome is neural networks. I need these missions to feel for me. If we could go from that level, we would be winning. This is the layer. Immediately, when I saw this slide, when I was rehearsing at the back, I thought, why have I got 7 on the first? That is just the layer. That's the outcome we want to achieve, the autonomous. We want these missions to work autonomously. Can we get there now? No. We need to, so you need to have this hardware side of it right if that is the outcome you need to achieve. Tool is only as effective as how you use it, how you get the worth of that tool. So you need to work out these layers. These are the 7 layers you need to be thinking about. We all, if you're in IT and solution-based, or technical architect and solution-based, we are only thinking from 4 to 4, 5, and 6. 6 is so much. We are not thinking about this layer. The technical architect knows how this works. Sorry. And these are the barriers. You might see some of the similarity. The barriers themselves are people, process, and development cycle. You cannot take the IT development cycle and shove it in. Sorry about the language, but that's how it's happening in AI development cycle. That's not how it works. AI has got a mind of its own, has got feelings of its own, has it got emotions of its own. So you need to think from that point when you buy an IT infrastructure. Can my boy? How many of you have got Mac? 16-inch? You've got 16-inch. You went for 16-inch is because you use the capacity fully, or because you want to future-proof it? You want to future-proof it, right? We all want to change our system to future-proof. Why IT is infrastructure or companies are not buying that? Why are we not giving them solutions? It's because the cost. So these are the 5 things you can start thinking about. If you are encouraging, if you are in that position where your voice stands out with your management or with your client, first, AI strategy. AI strategy is not IT strategy. I've heard, I really want to tell these corporations that AI strategy is different from IT strategy. Yes, it is in line with IT strategy, but it is not IT strategy. And IoT, if you're going for that, then you need to have separate IoT strategy and AI strategy so that it can merge in as a whole. Then, second step is define the outcomes. What are the outcomes you want to achieve? And then define your culture. AI culture is totally different from the culture which you have. If you've got a corporate culture, you need to change that corporate culture to challenge the way you think, not being complacent with their leaders, and write a report based on that. I've done it many times, I know. Define the governance and security frameworks. And then define business processes ground up. Not taking the business process, what they have, and give it in, ground up. Finally, this is nothing to do with innovation. It's to do with people management and change management. Keep it simple. You don't have to be, if you keep it simple, you'll be a hero, because rest of them are making it complicated and not winning. Winning is what makes you hero most of the time. And fail faster forward. That's all I've got. Questions?